and a couple of plants to the loft. You said, which loft? Elliot's Loft. You know by now, that's the home of where When Black Men Talk is produced. I'm just fortunate enough to be the host. Appreciate you giving us an ear. I'm Mark Elliott. You know, we've been adding different branches to the show throughout the spring and summer of 2025. And we're starting to move into some new locations. Kapala District is a city in Uganda. That's a new location. Newcastle upon Tyne, England is another location. Ranford Hamron is another city in England that's starting to pay attention and give us an ear. We appreciate it. France, South Sudan, Canada, Germany. You all been hanging for a while. Thank you very much. And of course, various cities throughout the United States. Thanks for, tuning in and giving us that ear. This episode, I'm going to speak of stepping aside. Now, not just moving out the way because somebody's coming at you real fast. Basically, I'm speaking of stepping aside and standing on faith. Getting out of your own way. Perseverance involves staying faithful to God's promise, trusting in His guidance, and relying on His strength to overcome all obstacles. All is the key here. Not some, not few, not 3, 4, 5, not a couple. All obstacles. That's the essence and the foundation of stepping aside. Now, I've always been a big fan that we control our own destiny. But in the back of my mind, I always kind of kept a little slight caution because I didn't want to control to the point where I was starting to basically hinder my own progress. So in reality, we will only control certain things to a certain extent. Now, by not stepping aside, we can start to hinder our progress and success. There's a song that I love that's sung by Yolanda Adams, and it's sung boldly. And it's basically entitled Step Aside. I encourage one to listen to the song intently and listen to it more than once. Moving out of the way. Now, naturally, that's not always the thought to do because we want to be in full control. And we used to be in control. We feel like, we're in control. It's a better chance of things working out the way we want it to. But the more we fight to control, the more resistance we shall face up against our natural instincts. Our natural instincts tend to be unlearned tendencies which guides us towards well-being. They trigger responses without a conscious thought. Think about that for a second. They do things with us in our mind without basically even thinking about us. Well, that can pose a difficulty to stepping aside because our mental program is to step in and stay in to completion, which works counter to stepping aside and standing on faith. We want to bring a solution to our personal problems. That's what it really kind of boils down to from time to time. We want to be able to solve our own personal problems, and we fight to control the outcome. Well, we try to basically finagle things to a situation to our completion and the completion of our taste. That's where grief basically starts to kind of, pay us a visit for the most part. When we can't achieve our own personal solution, that starts to be the catalyst for grief. Grief stems from where we believe we can work things out on our own and we could bring it to our own fruition. And we don't try to step aside. The harder we try, the more grief we bring. Well, here's the rub. All things work for the good. Not some things. All things. That may not be our choice, but basically, all things will work out. The foundation is the foundation. All things work for the good. The good aligns with God's ultimate purpose, even the painful and difficult circumstances. It's hard to believe painful and difficult works out for the good. Perseverance, staying faithful to God's promise. That's when we move aside against our natural instinct. Stop seeking for our own personal workout in a matter. The good may not be our desired outcome. And sometimes that's tough to accept and sometimes it's tough to handle. I've heard people from time to time say, I was mad at God. When I hear that sometimes I say to myself, how could you be if you understand His ultimate purpose? How could you be mad at Him? Basically realizing that how it works out, it's going to work out all for the good. We walk by faith, not by sight, leaning on the Lord. That was a song my mother used to sing years ago, man, when I was young, going to my grandfather's church. A mustard seed. Think about that for a second. A mustard seed in size, 0.079 inches in diameter. That's about the size you need in faith. 0.079 inches in diameter. I'm not sure if you can hold that. If you put together, it would take two fingers to really squeeze that, hold it tightly. Because if you don't hold it tightly, you may drop it. That's how small. And that's the amount of belief you need. Then it's going to work out for the good. Believing and trusting cancels anxiety, cancels overthinking. Here's the difference. It delivers peace, serenity, tranquility, the superior level of calm. The superior level of calm. Wow. A composed state of mind, moving away from the mental disturbance. I see that as a reward of faith, a big reward. You're to believe in things you cannot see. You may not be able to imagine, think it's not possible. In reality, you render control. The more you battle, less peace. The more you battle, less serenity. The more you battle, less tranquility you will experience. Allow your faith to see you through situations. Give it to Him. Then step aside. Repeat this for life situations as life basically goes through and it turns. See faith through your situation. Faith is the things hoped for. Faith is assurance of things not seen. A choice to trust God and His promise. Passive is not a way to be faithful. It can't be purchased. It can't be given as a gift. Believing and trusting in His promise. A deep level of trust and confidence, which offers you a general sense of optimism. Along with joy, plenty of joy. All things work for the good. I'm going to leave it right there because I think I said more than enough. We'll get together real soon. You know God loves you, and I love you too. Take care of yourself. We'll get together soon.